Go.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the September 3rd, 2024 DVMUG Zoom meeting. I'm Lee Wagner. I'll be hosting this meeting. We'll, of course, follow the usual schedule of news followed by videos, a little miscellany, one item, question and answers, and social hour. This week's news. This is posted on the BBS. The URLs are clickable, and if you want to look deeper into some of these news items, you can do it that way from the BBS. Following our synopsis on these news items. First item, U.S. fights Canada over new tech tax that could cost Apple billions. Well, Apple insider Charles Martin, who is weekly editor, Canada's new digital services tax could cost iPhone maker Apple billions. But the U.S. says the fees are discriminating against American tech companies and is pushing for a delay. Canada and other countries want to be able to impose taxes on profits made from online marketplace services, advertising services, social media services, and revenue made from selling user data. To qualify under the Canadian law, a tech company would have to be made $750 million or more in qualifying revenue per year, of which at least $20 million would have to come directly from Canadian users. The Biden administration has noted that, if passed, such an interim tax structure may violate the rules of the North American Free Trade Agreement. It has requested trade dispute settlement consultations with Canada. If U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai cannot reach an agreement to resolve U.S. concerns about the Canadian tax within 75 days of the consultations, she would request a settlement panel under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. The dispute might conceivably lead to retaliatory U.S. tariffs on imports from Canada. Tai has said the U.S. opposes unilateral digital services taxes that discriminate against U.S. companies. As we pursue these consultations, we will continue to support the Department of the Treasury in the OECD G20 global tax negotiations to bring a comprehensive solution to the challenge. And the OECD is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Any comments or questions on that news item? Next news item. European Union antitrust chief and Apple foe Margaret Vestager out after 10 years. Reported by Apple Insider.com, William Gallagher. Margaret Vestager has spent a decade leading the European Union's attempts to control big tech, including actions Tim Cook describes as total political crap. She won't be doing it any longer. According to the Financial Times, Vestager will not be nominated for a third term as European Commissioner for Competition. Margaret Vestager was the central figure behind the EU's legal case against both Apple and Ireland in 2016. The European Commission handed down its biggest penalty to that date, ordering Apple to pay $14.5 billion in what it said were back taxes. According to the European Commission, Apple paid 1% tax in 2003 and 0.005% in 2014. The EU declared this illegal, and while investigations had begun before Vestager's term began, it was she who got to announce the findings. Ireland granted illegal tax benefits to Apple, she said in 2016, which enabled it to pay substantially less tax than other businesses over the years. Ireland disagreed with her stance then and still does now. Other countries have talked about requiring Apple to allow third-party alternatives to the iOS App Store, but only Europe has done it. With the EU, iPhone and iPad users have to be able to use alternatives to just about anything Apple offers, from browsers to digital wallets. Under Vestager's leadership, the EU's position appears to be that every company that wants to should have the same access to Apple technology, iPhone technology, as Apple does. It appears to see the iPhone as a public utility. This could be precisely why Apple is not releasing Apple Intelligence in Europe. There's more to this. You may want to read the article at the URL, which, as I said, is on the BBS. Any comments, questions? Third news item, Wall Street Journal. Apple in talks to invest in OpenAI as ChatGPT comes to the iOS 18, reported by Chance Miller, 9 to 5 Mac. Apple is in talks to invest in OpenAI, a move that would cement ties to a partner integral to its efforts to gain ground in the artificial intelligence race. The investment would be part of a new OpenAI fundraising round that would value the ChatGPT maker above $100 billion. People familiar with the situation said. It couldn't be learned how much Apple or Microsoft will invest in OpenAI this round. To date, Microsoft has been the primary strategic investor in OpenAI. It owns a 49% share of the AI startup's profits after investing $13 billion since 2019. Apple and OpenAI are teaming up to integrate ChatGPT into iOS 18 later this year. Through this partnership, ChatGPT will handle world knowledge requests in combination with Siri. Bloomberg has reported that Apple is not paying OpenAI as part of the partnership, nor is OpenAI paying Apple. Instead, the Apple reportedly believes that the exposure the iOS integration is giving OpenAI is of equal or greater value than cash. Any comments or questions?
I have questions about all of this. I suppose it's probably easier if I just look it all up and read more about it.
Yeah,
But,
I agree, Lee. I don't think you need to read the whole article like that. You just, if you got a little summary of what's about, then they can go read the rest of it on their own.
Well, that certainly was not the whole article. Those were excerpts from it.
So I have a kind of technical question. Does that mean if they're integrated that artificial intelligence has access to everything on your Apple phone? I would think that means yes.
From what we've discussed before and from what I've read, Apple says no. Apparently, Siri will handle the requests themselves with Apple Intelligence, and if it thinks that OpenAI can do what ChatGPT can do better or something like that, it'll ask you for permission before it goes to ChatGPT, and their agreement with OpenAI is that they will not retain any of your query or the answer, any of the history that they see. Now, whether that means that they're not training on it, on your inquiries,
Exactly.
they won't retain it as such. So, but I got to wonder if their value in lieu of cash would be training on what we want to know. And
yeah, keep in mind that there's a difference between access to your data and access to your queries. Your data is not going to be accessible.
Maybe.
You don't have to take your dirty pictures off. Just kidding. But no, your data is not going to be accessible. It's only for like when you ask Siri a question or pose a question through your browser.
All right.
But then you could also ask in 2024, what is privacy anyway?
Right. Right.
Moving on to the videos. Again, this summary is on the BBS with the clickable URLs. So if you want to follow, these are really really too fast to get it down home just watching it, but it should be able to show you that there's something worth looking into later. First video is Tom Wells, Proper Honest Tech, 10 amazing Mac productivity tips and tricks. Once again, they're fast, but if you see something interesting, you can come back to it.
As I'm making this video, we're not far away from Apple releasing macOS Sequoia with all of the productivity enhancements that it's going to come with. But I think there are still lots of productivity features in the current version of macOS that most Mac owners don't know about. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video, 10 productivity features of macOS Sonoma that I think most Mac owners don't know. Okay, let's get into it. In the Mail app, if you get an email and you want to remember to come back to it later, you can right-click on the email and choose Remind Me. You can then choose to be reminded about it either in an hour's time or at one of two contextual time options like later tonight or tomorrow morning or a custom date and time. You would choose that by selecting Remind Me Later. When you do this at the agreed time, the email will jump to the top of your mail inbox. The only problem with this is that you need to be in the mail inbox in order for this to work. I think that a better way of remembering to deal with specific emails is to combine the Mail app with the Reminders app. And on the Mac, that's really easy because you can just use drag and drop. For example, you can see that I've got my Mail inbox open on one side of the screen and my Reminders app open on the other. I can simply drag any email from Mail into the Reminders list that I'd like. The reminder is created in the Reminders app along with a Mail icon on the right-hand side. Tapping on that will take me to the specific email in my Mail inbox. I can then use all the functionality of the Reminders app to add things like alerts or anything else that might be useful. This also means that this reminder would show on my iPad or my iPhone if I've got those as well. You no doubt already know that when you're creating a new event in the calendar, you can add a file to it as an attachment. But have you tried this? You can click into the Add Alert, Repeat, or Travel Time section, then click into Alert and scroll all the way down and choose Custom. In here, you can change the Message with Sound dropdown to Open File. If you choose Calendar, you can have this work with whatever file you've already attached to your event. Or if you haven't already attached a file, you can instead choose Other and then select your file using Finder as normal. In the section below this, you can choose the time that you would like the file to open. So for example, you might choose at the time of the event, or you might say 5 minutes before or something like that. Click OK. Then input your event into Calendar as you normally would. At the time that you chose, your file will automatically open on your computer, meaning that if you're running into a meeting, you'll be ready to go with the file that you need open as soon as the meeting begins without having to search for it and open it manually. The common Finder window has a bit of a hidden productivity secret. You can pin almost anything to it for quick access later. All you do is hold Command on your keyboard and drag something onto the Finder window. For example, if I've got a document that I use all the time, I can press and hold Command on my keyboard and then drag and drop that document onto a Finder window. Likewise, if there's a specific app that I open all the time, I could do exactly the same thing and drag that app onto the Finder window too. It's then available every time that I'm in Finder. You can even do it with folders. So if there's a folder that you're going to use on a frequent basis, this is a really good way of making it easily available to you. It even works with locations like external drives. So I recently invested in a NAS for the business, and all of the files that I use for running my business are now stored on that NAS. I'm in and out of it hundreds of times a day. I could, of course, put it in the favorites bar on the menu to the left, but I find it much quicker to give it its own dedicated space in the Finder window by following the exact same process. Common complaints of the System Settings menu in your Mac is that it can be hard to find what you want from the options on the left. A way to solve this is to simply right-click on the System Settings option in your dock. This will give you an alphabetized list of all the options within System Settings. You can just click on the one that you want. Also, keep in mind you can search for many of the things that you need in System Settings using Spotlight Search. Tap Command and the spacebar and type whatever it is that you're looking for. You can then select it and hit Enter to open that exact page in Settings. If you download an attachment in the Mail app, when you view that file in Finder, you'll notice a mail icon next to its name. This is Finder's way of telling you that this particular file is something that you've received in an email and downloaded as an attachment. If you click on that mail icon, you'll be taken straight to the email that the file was downloaded from. If you right-click on the file in Finder, you'll see that there's a reply option. You can click on this to reply to the sender in the original email thread. The only slightly annoying thing is I've noticed that the file is attached to your reply, but it's easy enough to delete this if you don't want it. If you open an image file in the Preview app and then go to File and Export, you can see that there are a number of different file types that you can choose from to export your image. But if you press and hold the Option key on your keyboard when you click on the Format field, you'll see that there are about 3 times as many image formats that you can choose from. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know all of these. Some of them seem quite obscure to me. But if one that you use quite often is in here, this is how you would access it. I really like the VIP function in the Mail app. It allows you to add as many contacts as you like to your VIP list. Once you've done this, VIP contacts will appear in their own dedicated mailbox within the Mail app. In fact, you can take this a step further and go to Settings, then choose General, and in the New Message Notifications drop-down menu, choose VIPs. You will now only receive notifications on your Mac when an email from someone in your VIP list comes through to your inbox. This is how I prefer to work. I find that getting notifications for every email that lands in my inbox is really distracting. But what if you'd still like to know about every email as soon as it arrives, but you'd like to be able to distinguish between the VIP ones and the non-VIP ones? For that, you can create a rule. In the same Mail Settings menu, click on Rules, then choose Add Rule. You can leave the top line as it is, where it says, if any of the following conditions are met. Then in the From field, choose Sender is VIP. Underneath that, in the Perform the following actions option, choose Play Sound. You can then choose from a range of different sounds in this particular list. When you're happy with the sound, click OK, and ensure that the active checkbox is ticked next to the rule that you just created. Now, whenever an email from someone in your VIP list lands in your inbox, it will play a different sound to an email from a non-VIP sender. Mission control is really useful. Remember that there are a couple of ways that you can access this. You can either press the F3 button on your Mac keyboard or press Control and the up arrow to access it on any keyboard. The problem though is mission control can get quite messy if you have a lot of different apps open. One way to fix this is to go to System Settings and choose Desktop and Dock from the left-hand side. Scroll all the way down to the mission control section and enable the Group Windows by Application toggle. This will then group all of the apps together in mission control, making it much neater. If you have a PDF document and you need to redact or black out the text on it, the way that most people do this is they open the document in Preview, tap the pen icon at the top, and then either use the Draw tool to scribble out the text, or tap the Shape button and add a square or rectangle that they then fill in with the color black and place over the text. There are a couple of problems with this. First of all, it's really fiddly to try and do it this way. But more importantly, all you're doing is putting a colored shape on top of text. Someone with the right photo editing software could potentially make enough changes to the document to access the text that you're trying to cover up. The secure way of doing this is to open the document in Preview, press the pen button at the top to access the markup menu, and then press the redact button. You can then select the text that you want to redact, just like you would in any text editing software. And once you save the document, anytime that you open that document, the text will be fully redacted, both for you and for anyone else who opens it. By default, if you're in Safari and you click on a link, that link will open in the current tab that you're viewing, replacing whatever it is that you're currently looking at. If you'd like the link to open in a new tab alongside what you're currently looking at, press and hold the Command button on your keyboard when you click the link. That link will then open in a new tab in the background, allowing you to carry on with what you're doing before you go and view that particular tab. Then if you get to the point where you've got lots of tabs open and you'd like to move some of those tabs into their own new windows, you can either select the specific tab that you want, go to Window at the top and choose Move Tab to New Window, or you can simply drag and drop the tab from the current Safari window into its own new space on your desktop, and that will open in a brand new window. On the flip side, if you end up with lots of Safari windows open all over your screen and you want to bring them all together into a collection of tabs within the one window, go to the window menu at the top of your screen and choose Merge All Windows. So there you go, 10 macOS productivity features that I think most Mac owners aren't aware of. What do you think? Anything that I should have included in this video that wasn't there? Drop me a comment and let me know.
Any comments?
Hey, I think you need to stop your share and turn on the share sound. It sounds like it was using your computer microphone.
Correct.
Let's see, I see share, but I don't see the share. So there it is.
Yeah, they moved it on the right, upper right. There you go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then you can reshare it. Right in. There you go.
Okay. Well, any comments or questions on that one? That was 10 items in a hurry. Second video is Gary Rosenzweig at MacMost. Everything you can do with images without launching an app.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Here's everything you can do with an image file on your Mac without needing to even launch an app.
Sound is much better.
MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MacMost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So you may think that in order to do anything with an image file on your Mac, including even just view it, you need to open up the file in an app. But actually, you can do a lot of things with just the Finder and macOS without needing any app at all. So for instance, let's say I've got an image like this one. If I open it up here in preview, you can see it's on its side. It needs to be rotated. You can do this here in preview. Of course, you've got a button right there. But actually, you don't need to use any app at all to do that. You can select the image here, and then if you control click on it, right click, two-finger click on a trackpad to bring up the context menu, you go to quick actions. One of the quick actions you can use is to rotate it left. And then you can see the little icon change there. Now, if I open this up, you can see it's rotated the right way. You could actually access these quick actions on the right side of a Finder window if you turn on the preview. So in the view menu, choose show preview, and you could see some of these items here, including under more, there's that rotate left. You can customize this and then decide you want to drag rotate left to the top. So it's the first one. And now you could see that it appears right here, easy access. Now you can just click it here and you can see it rotates the image very easily, 90 degrees, so you can get it right. Now, another thing you do with quick actions is convert. So it's available here, or again, you can bring up the context menu and go to quick actions and then use convert image. And then you've got a variety of different options here. You can convert to JPEG, PNG, or high efficiency format. And you can preserve the metadata, like for instance, if it's a photo, the time the photo was taken, the lens that we use, all that kind of thing. And then you can click convert and it actually will create a new copy of the same image there with the new format. Another thing you could do as a quick action is remove background. So for an image like this where there's a subject in it, if I choose that, it will create a new version of it with the words background removed right there. And you can see if I open this one up, then this is all transparent and just the subject is there. It only works if it can recognize a subject in the foreground, so the background can be removed. Now, this is the same thing you get if you were to open up, say, in preview here, and then go to Tools and remove background. Now, another thing you could do with the quick actions is go directly to markup. So the markup tool is built into macOS, and you'll find it in apps like, for instance, in Preview. But you don't need to launch Preview to mark up an image. You can just go right to markup. And you can see I'm still here in the Finder. It's just another window on top, but I have all these markup tools. I can draw, I can add shapes, I can add text, I can even sign it if this is a scan of something. I can write text on it. I can even do other things like you can rotate in here. Now, in addition to all the markup tools, there's one tool that's kind of separate from all of those. That's this one right here. It's the crop tool. So without opening up an app, you can use markup and then crop. And with the crop turned on, you can grab the corners and recenter the image and work cropping tool similar to what you'll find in Preview and Photos. And then click crop. And you'll still see the rest of the image there, so you can go back into the crop tool, or you can click done, and now you can see the image here has been changed. Now, another thing you can do without opening an app is view the image. Now, I've got this preview here on the right. I showed you how to get that. But you can get a full-size preview by using Quick Look. You can certainly bring up the context menu and then go to Quick Look here. But the easiest way to do it is just select the file, hit the space bar, and it brings up the Quick Look window. Quick Look window can be resized. You could even go full screen if you like that. And Quick Look window will stay up until you dismiss it. So you can select another image here in the Finder, and you can see how you can continue to view images. Matter of fact, you can even use the arrow keys here in the Finder, and going down will just go to the next image. So I can flip through images in a folder really easily and view them using Quick Look. Note also that Quick Look has access to the markup tools here and the rotate tool there. Another thing you can do with the Quick Look tool is if you right-click or two-finger click on a trackpad, you have the ability to copy the subject here. So similar to removing the background. And you can see here, there's even this glowing line around the subject there. So it shows what you'll get if you use copy. And that's now in the clipboard. You can paste it somewhere else. Another thing you can do with Quick Look is if there's an image with some text in it, you can go into Quick Look and you'll see this little text button here at the bottom right. You can use this to select the text that's there. You can actually just use your pointer and select if you want. But if you click this, it makes it clearer what text in the image has been recognized. And with this text selected, you can use Command C to copy the text, and it's just plain text you can paste elsewhere. You also have a translate button here if it's not in your language. Another trick you can do in Quick Look is if you're looking at an image and something in it has been identified. In this case, it's a monument. You'll see that there's this info button that appears here. You can click that, and it'll actually give you information about what it's found in the photo. Here's another example. This picture of a flower also comes up with an info button. You click that, and it will try to identify that plant. Now, here might be the most powerful thing that you can do without any app. You can select an image. I'll choose this one here, and you can convert it to a PDF. So if you wanted to send this as a PDF to somebody, you don't have to open it up in an app and export it as a PDF or anything like that. You can go to the quick actions and choose Create PDF. When you do that, it simply creates a PDF file. Now, what's even cooler is you can select multiple images. So I'll select these three, and you can go to the same quick actions, and notice it's also available here because it's the second in the list here. So I can click Create PDF here, and it has created a PDF. It uses the name of the first one, but look what happens when I open it up. You can see it's got all three images in the PDF, each as its own page. What's even cooler is you can decide the order. So I've got this image here, this one here, and this one here. I'll choose the one of me first, then Command click to choose the flower second, and then Command click to choose the lantern third. So now when I create a PDF, if I look at the order, notice it does it in the order in which I selected them. And also for image files, you can get a lot of information using just the Finder without opening an app. So with an image selected, I can go to File and then Get Info, or simply Command I. And then under More Info here, a section that you can open and close, I'm going to get things like the dimensions, the make and model of the camera used, and all sorts of different settings for when the photo was taken. And of course, there's even more you can do if you open up an image in an app like Preview, or you create your own shortcut in the Shortcuts app. You can do lots of different things there as well. And you can also do things like, of course, share the image in various different ways, sending it over AirDrop, adding to notes, all of that. That all can be done as well. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
Well, sorry about that timing bar on the bottom. It was not there on my computer until I went on Zoom. Is there a setting in Zoom to eliminate that?
I like that timing bar at the bottom. I think it's good to kind of get a sense of how long the thing is going to run, personally.
It was kind of covering up some important things in that one, I thought.
Yeah, when you're a presenter, it kind of, you see stuff and it covers up and you can't get to things.
Yeah.
I'm still hearing an echo.
That's Gary. Recent Gary videos have been like that. He's like apparently added some reverb for some reason. They've just been like that recently.
Thanks.
But you're right. Yes, I heard it too. But that's the way the MacMost videos we've been playing lately seem to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, so if you create a PDF with the pictures, that was pretty interesting. Could you then in preview insert text in between those? Anybody know?
No, I don't.
You could type up some text in a document, save it as PDF, and then insert it in a page into a multi-page PDF. But you want to add like a caption under the picture?
Something or a block, so you can't just type into a PDF.
No.
Okay.
I thought he said you could add text to a PDF in,
No, maybe you can. Huh?
yeah.
You have
Oh,
to
I
have
know.
that reader.
You can add text fields to, and it has all the same markup tools.
Oh yeah, I think you'd be better off to make your pictures in pages and put captions, design it, then save it as a PDF. But that would take more work.
Well, that would certainly work.
So the first video we played, I saw when he popped open the list to show you all the formats you could save something in, that, and I've seen this for years now, that the choices include JPEG and JPEG 2000. And I've never known what JPEG 2000 was or why you'd use it. So I just checked that out, and it took me to an Adobe page where they explained that you can get higher compression levels, and you can also, under JPEG 2000, save a non-lossy compressed version. But that took me down a rabbit hole that I ended up reading that, and I had no idea about that digital cinema projection, which is how they do movies in the theaters now, is JPEG 2000. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Ah,
Has anybody ever used JPEG 2000 to save?
Yeah, let's save that for the discussion, okay?
Okay.
okay, moving on. Third video is Ellen Sweeney at Ellen's Tips for iOS. iPhone messages not showing photos. Simple steps to resolve it.
Is your iPhone not receiving photos in messages? You could have the most recent iPhone running the latest iOS update, but bugs and problems can happen to all of us, and not being able to send or receive photos in messages can be frustrating. In this short video, I'll give you a few things to try to quickly fix your problem so you can get back to enjoying those photos of your grandkids' vacation or pets. Let's get started. First, let's take a look at your message settings. We'll want to open up the Settings app. You'll scroll until you see Messages. Tap on that. Now we're going to locate your message history. So we're going to scroll towards the bottom until we see Message History. And here you can see that mine is set to forever. But depending on your storage situation, you may want to set yours to 30 days or 1 year. The first option to get those photos working again in Messages is to try signing out of your Apple ID that you use with Messages. Signing out will delete all of your messages, but when you sign back in, they will all be re-downloaded to your device. To do this, you're going to open the Settings app. Again, we're going to tap on Messages. Now we're going to tap on Send and Receive. And then tap your Apple ID at the bottom. Once you do, tap Sign Out. I'm going to be signed out of my Apple ID. Wait for a little bit. And now it's going to say here, it says use your Apple ID for iMessage. I'm going to tap on that and I'm going to sign back in to my Apple ID. All of your messages will be re-downloaded. So after clearing your messages and re-downloading them, hopefully that will solve your issue. But if it doesn't, head on to the next tip. The next option to restore photos to messages is checking your MMS settings. The iPhone supports MMS as well as iMessage. If you have MMS disabled, you won't be able to send and receive multimedia messages like photos or videos to Android users, or when iMessage isn't available. So to check the MMS settings, you'll open the Settings app, tap on Messages, scroll down until you see SMS, MMS. Be sure that the toggle switch next to MMS is toggled on, and you can even toggle on the send as SMS as well. The last option to try is resetting your network settings on your iPhone. Although this may seem intimidating, this will only remove your Wi-Fi passwords and VPN settings. So when you're finished, you'll need to log back into your Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi will be turned off and back on, so it's only a minor annoyance. To do this, open the Settings app, tap on General, scroll to the bottom, tap on Transfer or Reset iPhone. Now you'll choose Reset, and here you'll choose Reset Network Settings. You'll type in your passcode and then you'll tap on Done. Once that's been reset, go ahead and log back into your Wi-Fi and then wait to see if your photos and videos are coming across in messages. If this guide doesn't solve the issues of photos not appearing in messages, it's possible the issue is with the person you're trying to contact. You can send them this guide and help walk them through it. Once you've exhausted all the possibilities, you may need to contact Apple support for more troubleshooting. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Time to help people customize and save with Liberty Mutual. Forgot my wallet.
Wix gives you the power of AI to build the website you need. With full business functionality and a design tailored just for you. Customize every element of your website and watch your vision come to life in minutes.
You gotta kill Safari.
Yeah.
Control everything from the biggest tasks to the finest details. Personalized, optimized, ready to go live.
In this video, I'll show you how to have your iPhone remember the location of your parked car so you can easily find it later. Your iPhone can remember where you parked and help you get directions manually or automatically. It can even tell you how long the car has been there, which is helpful when parking in a garage that charges by the hour. You can manually adjust the parking spot, share the location, write a note, or add photos. Overall, it's a great feature, and here's how to use it. To have your iPhone automatically remember where you parked, you'll need to do this in the Settings app. So we'll open Settings, we'll locate and tap on Map. We'll scroll to the bottom, we'll scroll to the bottom and toggle on the switch where it says
It's still here, it's still running.
And now
Command Q.
And you connect your iPhone to your CarPlay or the car's Bluetooth system.
Command Q.
Disconnect from CarPlay or Bluetooth and exit the vehicle. Apple Maps will drop
Use the app switcher to get to that and then hit Command Q.
Receive a park notification on your iPhone. Tap it or use Apple Maps to get directions to your car when you want to return. If your car doesn't support CarPlay or Bluetooth, ask Siri to remember where you parked.
Or at least turn the volume down.
On your iPhone, say, remember where I parked my car, and
You're gonna have to do something to reboot because you got no
there
control.
are 3 ways
Command tab
to locate your parked
till you
car.
get to
You
Keynote
can
and
use
then
the
quit.
Apple Maps notification
Command
you
tab,
receive
Keynote.
when you disconnected from Bluetooth or your CarPlay.
Command tab.
I think he's in Safari, not in Keynote.
I don't know where it's playing through the speaker.
Siri, where did I park my car? So if I say, hey Siri, where did I park my car?
Is it on your screen, Lee?
I'll get a notification on the
Okay,
screen.
just quit everything.
You can tap
Yeah,
on
just
that
quit all your
notification
apps.
and
Command
Siri
tab, quit
will help
everything
me
except
get to
Zoom.
my car. You can also use Apple Maps. So if I've dismissed the notification of my parked vehicle,
Command tab will show you everything that's running on your screen. And as you tap it,
if I scroll down under
you can get to Keynote
you will
and
see
stop
a
it,
parked
or
car
Safari and
notification
stop
there.
it.
Keynote is not
Recents,
there.
I can
Okay,
tap
how about
on
Safari?
that,
Is it?
and you'll
Okay.
see that
Command
it shows
option
me the
escape and
directions
kill it.
to the parked
Command
Yeah.
car.
option
It'll
and what?
even give me coordinates if I
Command
want,
option and what?
and I can
Escape,
also do the
ESC,
following. So
top
I'm
left
gonna
corner of the
tap
keyboard.
X so that you can see how this works. I'll tap my parked car, and I'm going to go ahead and close it
Hold
out.
the option and command key down and tap
Swipe
the
down,
escape key.
and you'll see
And then
that
it'll ask you if you want to
car
force
is
quit.
still on the map. If I tapped on the parked car where it's located,
All right.
Yay.
Well.
That
Good
was
job.
the next. So now you need to share the sound. And that was the next video, right? It automatically started playing.
Uh,
That was last week, wasn't it?
no, yeah,
Yeah, I think that was last week.
yes, it was. I don't know how it got started. So let's see. I'm right here. Okay, fourth video is by Bridget Carey at CNET. iPhone 16's big new button and why you'll upgrade.
You got to share your screen and share the sound.
Oh. Share screen.
That was almost as exciting as those Western films where the cattle stampede.
Okay, share.
I don't know which is more interesting, watching flat painter enamel dry.
Okay, you shared sound, right?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
All right. Fourth business, Bridget Carey at CNET. iPhone 16's big new button and why you upgrade. This is kind of a cute presentation of this upcoming.
The next iPhones are almost here. Rumors are swirling on the big changes coming. And it's a button. It looks like we're getting a camera button on the side next to the power. Okay, well, there is more than just a button. Rumors say the Pro models might even have a better camera inside of them. Yeah, big surprise, right? We have been doing this dance for 17 years. 17 years of iPhone updates. And we have the same story every year where we list these incremental improvements and then we ask, oh, but is it worth upgrading this year? And the reviewers say, well, it's nice if you want to get it, but you can wait a year. It's not that big of a change.
Hi, this is Rick
except
Gallagher.
for this year. The story is different this time around. And not because of a little
Yes, ma'am.
camera button, because of AI, Apple Intelligence. If you want to be in the club of AI where you can send silly images and you want to try out the new Siri, well, Apple is making it so you'll need one of the newest iPhones. And that means this year, there will be a huge wave of customers looking to upgrade, much more so than usual. So while we wait for the inevitable hunger for the new iPhone software, Let's spend our one more thing this week getting hyped about the possible new hardware, and we'll go over what we expect to be changing in the design of the iPhone 16 and 16 Pro models. I'm Bridget Carey, and this is One More Thing. The iPhone 15 Pro models were the first to have a programmable action button that replaced the volume mute switch, and you can set that button to silence calls or turn on focus mode, turn on the camera, among other features. Now it seems other phones are going to be getting this action button, and a whole new camera button is being added to the side with the power button. There's been a few reports, but most clearly you can see this in a short video of a leaked phone case template posted on X by the handle Universe Ice. Now, if this is legit, because we don't know for sure yet, it could be what to expect for the iPhone 16 or 16 Plus. There is an action button by the volume buttons, and you also see a cutout for this rumored capture button. Now, nothing's official, but it does line up with what we've been hearing from a few other leaks for a while now. Back in December, Mac Rumors shared some mock-ups that included talk of a new capture button on the iPhone 16. And in March, Apple Insider posted some 3D printed models from a leaker, suggesting the capture button would be on both the iPhone 16 and the 16 Pro models. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman has said this capture button could record video, and a report from The Information says the capture button could let you zoom in and out by swiping left and right on the button, and you can get your subject in focus if you press lightly before you press down to shoot. Now, what else do you notice from these case designs? The iPhone 16 camera placement changed. The current iPhone 15 has the two cameras on the back placed diagonally, but these iPhone 16 mock-ups have the two lenses vertically aligned. Why would they do that? Well, if you are taking spatial video for the Vision Pro, you're going to need those cameras to be aligned side by side for your 3D home movies. Apple, I am sure, wants more people to make Vision Pro 3D video content on way more phones, not just for those with the top-of-the-line Pro and Pro Max models. And let's get into that camera. Right now, the best camera is on the iPhone 15 Pro Max because it has a 5 times telephoto lens, but that extra zoom might make its way to both Pro models next year, instead of just the larger Max. That's according to Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo. Apple may also have some new feature to help with lens flare. A rumor out of Korea, discovered by Mac Rumors back in April, suggests that Apple could add some sort of anti-reflective coating to the camera to reduce lens flare and ghosting. This could be something for the Pro models, but sometimes it's hard to tell with these rumors if the thing being tested is going to be for the iPhone 16 Pro now, or if it's for next year's iPhone 17 Pro. What about the processors? Well, we have an A17 chip in the latest iPhone Pro models. But the word out now is that the iPhone 16 Pros are going to get the next generation of chips, likely called A18. But I wouldn't be surprised if the lower end models got the A17 and the Pros got the A18. The reason everything needs some kind of boost is to be able to run Apple Intelligence. Right now, you need an A17 chip to run Apple's generative AI, and that means only the current 15 Pro models can do it, and probably all the new iPhones with better chips will also be able to use Apple's AI. That's why all the talk is about more people upgrading this year. Investment firm Wedbush is saying we are about to enter an iPhone 16 upgrade supercycle. Apple Insider sheds light on this report, saying that about 270 million iPhone users have not upgraded in over 4 years. That means you got a lot of folks thinking this could be the year to buy something new, whether that's a Pro model or not a Pro model, just as long as no customer feels left out from playing in the new AI sandbox. I am one of those people who gets a little too excited about iPhone colors, even though I will always put a case on my iPhone. And that said, it has been wild to me that Apple has not made its top-of-the-line Pro models in any sort of lively or fun colors. The normal iPhones get all the pop and pizzazz, but the professional iPhones must stay dark and dreary and oh so serious. That could be changing. Back in May, Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo posted his prediction to X. He says that the blue color of the iPhone 15 Pro would go away and be replaced with a rose color model. Could Pro models finally get a pink color? Yes, Apple, please let this be true. I have long said you could be a professional and still be pink. I just hope it's real pink and not something muted. On the topic of new iPhone buttons, there is one more thing. There's a rumor that all the new iPhone 16 models will be getting the action button to replace the mute switch. Now, I've had the iPhone 15 Pro Max, so I've already been living with the action button, and it's there. I mean, sometimes I use it to silence, no big whoop, but my colleague Lisa Edichico thinks this is great, and that it belongs on all the new iPhones because of how you can program it to do almost any shortcut you want. And get this, she uses it to buy coffee. Instead of going to her Dunkin' app and tapping around to order a coffee, her shortcut is set to pull up an order with her store and her payment info pre-saved. So clearly I'm missing out, and I started poking into the Shortcuts app. I learned you can get creative with programming, and you can set it to do different things depending on the time of day or your location. Like maybe when you're home at night, it can turn off all your lights. Or it can be simple and just be a shortcut to open one thing like your favorite Apple Music station. So help me out. Jump into the comments and share some of your ideas on what to do with this button besides mute. Apple Intelligence will be the big driver for a lot of sales of new iPhones, but we will have to wait to play around with it. Folks are suggesting that maybe we're going to see more in the fall, but let me know what rumored upgrades to the hardware have you most interested in the iPhone 16 or the 16 Pro. Or maybe it's something I didn't mention. There has been talk that maybe some of the screens are going to be a little larger or the bezels a little thinner. How much does size matter? Maybe that's a topic for another episode. I'll catch you next time for one more thing. Thanks for watching.
That one was pretty good. I liked it.
She can wear you out.
Yeah, I had a phone call and I missed the whole thing. I hope it was good.
Yeah, I muted you, Rick, because you were.
Oh, I thought I was muted. Oh,
we didn't.
Thank you for doing that, Kenji.
We didn't hear much.
Did you find the video jerky, or was it me?
No, it had a low frame rate.
It was very jerky.
It was drop out. But that's some new information now, huh? What is this button? You just keep pressing it like a merry-go-round till you get to the right thing?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe if you long press it, you get settings, or maybe it's in Control Center where you choose what it's going to do.
Yeah, it's programmable.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seemed like it's programmable, so that you can set it for different times of day. You press it in the morning, it'll order your coffee. If you set all that up in shortcuts, it's pretty interesting.
Are you talking about the action button?
Yeah, that's not a new feature. That's on
the action button was on the Pros already.
Yeah.
Right.
So can you imagine being so addicted to coffee that you need a dedicated button on your phone?
It's not dedicated. It's just an option. You know, I've always said fewer keystrokes, the better it is. So if you're running out of the house and go, I can either go to Dunkin' and go this and that and do everything, or I can just hit that button when I'm driving there, I'm good. I was more interested in that than learning that some of the 15 or 16 Pros might be rose colored.
You know, just to add to your story there, I, of course, have time on my hands lately and stuff, and I researched. Well, I saw something in the paper. It was exactly that. Dunkin' special drinks, 6 grams of sugar in that drink. You believe that? I mean, can you set up a special button to get you 6 grams of sugar every time you press the thing?
Hey, just throw a couple of sugar cubes in your mouth.
Dutch Brothers Coffee has a drink that has 56 grams of sugar.
Oh my God.
That's like a quarter of a cup.
That's why there's backups
we got one of those in Martinez, and people were saying it's not really coffee, it's sugar drinks with coffee flavor.
Flavored sugar.
I saw a guy one time take a cup of coffee, put 10 cubes of sugar in it, stir it up, taste it, and put 1 more cube in. Of 11.
Diabetes much?
We'll never finish the meeting if we diverge like this.
That's true.
One more video. Any more comments about what she had to say about the iPhone? Then move on.
The whole thing about color kind of is fascinating because, You choose a color and then you put a case on it so you can't see the color, except maybe around the rings around the lenses.
Right.
God made clear cases.
Mhm.
Just to add to that, didn't she also say that there's going to be a special finish on the outside of the phone to not to reflect
Over the lens. Over the lens.
Over the lens.
Lens flare, coating for lens flare on the lens.
But and then again, these are still all rumors because the phone is released next week.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal.
Any coating is going to degrade the image, isn't it?
All lenses have coatings on them from some extent.
Yeah, special filters.
Well, I guess it depends on what kind of coating they put on it. If it's
Optical.
well,
well, I think
was to eliminate reflection, right?
Right.
Some of it are to enhance blue skies. Some is to
that's a filter.
eliminate ultraviolet and enhance infrared or whatever.
All lenses are coated.
Filters.
All lenses are coated to minimize reflections. But I'm wondering if they're talking about. I don't think the lens is actually what you see on the outside of the phone. I think there's like a clear that's a lens protector on the outside. I think with the lens behind it.
I think so too.
Yeah, because it's flat.
So maybe they're talking about putting a coating on that.
And you can look inside and see it.
Fifth video is by Gary Rosenzweig at MacMost, keeping a note on top in the Mac Notes app.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let's take a look at the Keep on Top feature of the Notes app on your Mac. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 2,000 supporters. Go to macmost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So sometimes we use the Notes app to take notes while we have something else on the screen. For instance, you may be looking at a web page, and that web page may have information, and then you're using the Notes app to take notes. You may be looking at a presentation in Zoom or another app and taking notes during a class or meeting. One of the challenges is finding the screen space for all of that. So here we've got a standard desktop, and I've got a window here that's taking up the entire screen, showing my web browser. Now, if I also want to bring up the Notes app, that takes up a lot of space as well. And you can see here, I really don't have enough space to see the text of the web page and have the note open at the same time. But if you have more real estate on your screen, you can kind of adjust things like this, maybe get rid of the sidebar here, and maybe flip back and forth between these two windows. But what's nicer is that you can actually open up a Notes window that's independent of the main window here with all the sidebars and such. So all you need to do for that is control click, right click, or two finger click on the note in the list here, and then choose Open Note in New Window. Or I could just double click it. And then you can see how it opens up this note here in a second window that just has the note. I'm still seeing it over here. And if I actually were to type something, you can see how it appears in both places. So there's only one note. I'm just viewing it in two different ways. But then the great thing is I can have this little window over here taking up less space and then have that coexist a little bit better with a larger window with a meeting or with a web page. But let's say you want to take up more space with the content. Now you're switching back and forth. If I bring the note up, it's covering part of the window. If I bring the window forward, it's covering the note. Now, while logically you have to choose one or the other there, it can be annoying to have to click in this window to say click a link or navigate in some other way, and then you have to bring the note back to the front. You can tell this window to stay in front using a special command in Notes. So to do that, it's important to understand that this has to be in a separate window. So you can't do it if the note is being viewed here in the main Notes window with the sidebar and the list of notes. You have to break it out by double clicking into another window like this. Once it's in another window, you can go to the window menu and you see Keep on Top. Notice if I have the main Notes window selected, in the window menu, there is no Keep Note on Top. Instead, it's open note new window. That same command we used before by just double clicking. So you have to have this window selected, the little individual window, not the main notes window. Then you can select keep on top. Now when I select that, it doesn't seem like anything has changed. If I go to the window menu now, I can see a check mark next to keep on top for this window. So it is being kept on top. But to actually see that in action, we need to try to use another window, like maybe this main notes window. If I select it, notice how I've got it selected, but it didn't jump on top of this window. I can actually drag this around. This main notes window is now the frontmost active window. This window, however, didn't go behind it like a normal window should. That's because it now has a special feature where it's kept on top. It's not the active window. You can see here that the top here is all kind of grayed out. If I select it, you can see now the top isn't grayed anymore, and I can actually type in the note. So you still have to select the window to type, but it doesn't disappear behind other windows. Now, if I were to bring Safari back up, notice how the Safari window opens, but it doesn't go in front of this window. It's still the frontmost window. It's still the one that's active, the one that if I were to type, it would type in this window, but this window isn't hidden. So it's a little easier to see the notes there and to go back and forth between it. Now to turn this off, you would go to Window and turn off Keep on Top. And now you can see that when I select Safari, it comes to the front and it hides this window. So let's go and select Keep on Top again. And this is a special feature of the Notes app and these little individual notes windows. It's not in other apps. Like Safari doesn't have Keep on Top. Most other apps don't. Now, some things you should know about this. One is you really can't use the app switcher with this. So if I use the app switcher here and I switch to notes, you would think it would activate this window. What it actually does is bring the main notes window to the front. So it doesn't work very well, except I can close this main notes window. And now I can switch between Safari and Notes with Command Tab, the app switcher, very easily. So for using only the keyboard, it works really well. I can use page down or FN and down to page through this window. I can Command Tab back to Notes, and I can move around with the keyboard in this Notes app and type something. Now, when you close this window, it's closed, and if you go back to Notes here and you double click to open this one up, notice it's not Keep on Top anymore. So closing the window gets rid of this flag here. So you have to turn it back on. Now, another interesting thing is this actually works with full screen mode, but there's some catches. So let's close this here and just have Notes in the regular single main Notes window mode here. And let's go to Safari, and I'm going to click the green button here to enter full screen. So now it's full screen. If I do Control up arrow to enter mission control, you can see I've got my regular desktop. There's the Notes window on it, and I've got a full screen space. That is Safari. So it would be nice to be able to bring up the floating Notes window here in full screen. In fact, you can, but it's a little tricky. So I'm going to use Control left arrow to go back to this space here. First, I'm going to open up this window, and I can move it around. I could set it to keep on top. So it does, even if I select the other window behind it. Now, how do I get it over to that other space? Strangely, if you were to Control up arrow to enter mission control, a little floating window goes away. It's like it's not even there. So I can't use that. But here's what you can do. You can click and drag this window. Have to be dragging it. So with a trackpad, I'm holding down with my thumb and using my index finger to drag around. With a mouse, you would be clicking and holding down and dragging. So you have to be in the middle of dragging. And then with your other hand on the keyboard, use Control and the right arrow to go to the next space. But before I do that, I'm going to put it where I want. And I'll explain why in a minute. So I'm going to put it here in the upper right hand corner. And I'm still dragging it, still moving it around, as you can see. Control right arrow. And now it appears there. And now I've got a floating Notes window here in full screen mode with this Safari window. It behaves just like it did before, but I actually have another window here intruding on the full screen space. This allows me to continue taking notes even when I'm in full screen mode. Now there's some weird things about this. One is you can't move this window. That's why I positioned it in the correct spot before. If I click at the top here, it won't let me drag. No matter what I do, I can't drag it around. So I put it in the proper place before. But it gets even weirder because you can resize. So I can grab the bottom left corner and drag like that.
meaning I can reposition the window because I could drag it like this and then drag the other corner like that. And you can see how I repositioned it there. I'll drag the top and then I'll drag the bottom and you can see how I repositioned it there. So by resizing it in creative ways, you can actually move it around. Now, strangely, even though you can't drag it anywhere, if you click and hold down like you are dragging it and do Control left arrow to go back to this space, it actually will go with your pointer back to the space. So that's kind of nice. But of course, you could also just simply close the window like that. And you still have it here. It's easy to double click and open up another one. And it also works the same way in split view. So here I've got a Pages document open. I'm going to go to Mission Control, drag this over, and create a split view space. So like full screen, but 2 apps instead of 1. And I can go back here, double click to open this note, go to Window, keep on top, and then while dragging, do Control right arrow. And now you can see I've got this float on top notes window here, living with both of the windows here in the split view. But what about Stage Manager? How does it work in Stage Manager? It actually works really well. So let's turn Stage Manager on first in Control Center here. So you can see I've got Safari, I've got Pages, and I've got Notes here. So let's go and open up this as a separate window. And then let's go to the Window menu and keep on top. So now this is on top here, and it behaves the same inside of this particular app set. Now, let's switch to Safari. Look what happens. The main Notes window, that goes with the Notes app set, but the float on top Notes window stays there on the Safari app set. If I go to Pages, it stays there as well. So I can switch between all the different app sets, and if I have a Notes window set to float on top, it stays there. This could be really handy if you use Stage Manager. Also, if you're curious, you can use more than one window as keep on top. So I can have this window here, set it to keep on top. I can go to this note here, and you can see I've got a second note that's hidden behind it because it's not keep on top and this is. I could set this one to keep on top. And these two windows now jockey for position as the windows that float on top. This window is always behind both of them. So it's like I've got 2 different levels. The level with keep on top right here, these 2 windows, and then everything else underneath those. So float on top is a handy little technique to know if you use Notes on your Mac a lot, particularly if you use it in conjunction with other apps at the same time. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
Wow, that one was so fascinating. It brings up a whole series of questions. The first one is, how does Gary figure out all this stuff? And the second thing is, how does he keep it all in his head? And the third thing is, why hasn't Apple paid him big bucks to become the
CEO,
Apple teacher-in-chief and promote all this stuff?
Yeah, I think you're right on that. He's so knowledgeable. It's like, where did you even know there was a need for that? You know?
I think he just tries everything. Like he said last week, he just goes through every menu and every keyboard, try every modifier key and everything that you touch and see what happens. Try it and see if it works.
And he's got a mind that remembers it and can use it.
Maybe Apple can't afford him.
Well, he has his own subscription service that I subscribed to, but he had too many things that were just, I mean, it's wonderful to have all of his information, but some of it is just beyond the pale. Who uses some of that stuff, you know?
Only people who aren't retired.
Yeah. Well,
maybe that one I could definitely see using, because you could put a little notes window of the size.
Oh yeah, that stuff is useful. Yeah,
on top of Zoom too, as a little script if you're presenting, perhaps, or taking notes, without putting a big, app window on top and obscuring everything. That was a good one. I would love to see some instructional videos on Control Center and Spaces, because my understanding of Spaces is a little foggy. I don't know if I'm the only one.
You may not be, but I didn't understand what you're saying.
Spaces?
Well, he got into talking about spaces a little bit.
What spaces?
Okay, so you see, I'm not the only one.
There you go.
Like when you go full screen with an app,
Screen.
that's in its own space, but you can still, the desktop is still a separate space. And when you do control up arrow to go to control center, at the top, you'll see spaces.
Right, and you can add or subtract them.
Yeah, it sounds like you're starting to talk like Sheldon Cooper here.
Who?
Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory. Sounds like you're talking string theory and quantum physics and.
Oh, I never watched that show, so I.
Well, there's another issue here, and that is that he was talking about using your one hand to keep it moving, and then you somehow hit both control and right arrow. Well, if you look at your keyboard, that's quite a reach. Who can do that?
Left hand, right hand.
Yeah.
Well,
hands.
left hand, right hand,
Yeah.
but you were doing something you were doing something simultaneous to that.
Well, my old Chromecatcher keyboard has a control key right next to the arrows.
Oh.
No, it wasn't control anyway.
I thought it was.
I thought it
maybe.
was too.
Yeah.
Was it command right arrow?
Well, it was command, you can do it, but it wasn't, it was control, I do believe.
Oh, yeah.
The older keyboards had control keys at both ends of the keyboard.
Can we stop sharing so that we can see everybody?
Well, let's see now. I
That's the
think
last
we have
video.
some more going here.
Oh, she has some miscellaneous.
Oh,
Well, it's one and it's short, but we were told at the Spring Apple Worldwide Developers Conference, it was recorded on an Apple iPhone by a huge corporation with limitless funds and multiple experts to do so. Here's what an individual can do. Perhaps you'll find it encouraging.
You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future. But all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying this. I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which is that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love. You'll only ever have two choices: love or fear. Choose love, and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart. My soul is not contained within the limits of my body. My body is contained within the limitlessness of my soul.
with a little bit of philosophy added.
Unfortunately, the super slow frame rate that we're getting kind of spoiled a
Oh,
lot of that.
sorry.
I'll have to see it again, not streamed over Zoom, maybe.
That's good.
Because I'm sure the original video didn't have it staggering like that on
No, it was not at all. No.
Really?
Okay. We shall end your screen share.
To QA and social R.
Thanks, Lee.
Oh, nice effect there, Lee.
I must offer my apologies. I ran these at least a half a dozen times without either that time bar or with that thing crashing. But it did during this.
That happens.
Okay, any more? We'll switch to general Q&A. Anybody watching this on YouTube, DVMUG members can find a link to the Q&A in the next section on the BBS. So see you later.